When a large organization slows down, the corporate reflex is to rewrite the reporting structure. Flattened hierarchies and matrix reporting models are drafted in an attempt to force agility back into the system. Yet the paradox of the corporate shakeup is that these highly visible changes rarely resolve decision bottlenecks. Execution velocity remains stagnant long after the new charts are distributed. This failure stems from a confusion between the static organizational map and its actual operational flow. Drawing a new map of reporting lines does not change the underlying physics of how work gets done across departments. This is the limit of traditional organizational design. It is a static mapping of roles, titles, and basic authority flows. These connecting lines show who reports to whom, but they leave out how complex decisions are negotiated between different functions. Systems architecture focuses on the dynamic, daily flow of decisions, information, and execution rhythms. A proper architecture identifies the horizontal pathways between siloed departments. It maps the interfaces where priorities clash and reveals exactly where decision bottlenecks form. Solving the performance problem requires treating execution as a design challenge rather than a talent or leadership issue. Moving past the static map requires a framework that can handle the multiple variables of a modern environment. In the 1960s, management science moved away from searching for a single, universal best practice for corporate structure. This shift established the core axiom of contingency theory, the rejection of standard one-size-fits-all prescriptions for organizations. Structure must be chosen based on the specific context, plotted across measurable variables. The first is task analyzability, measuring work predictability. The second is environmental instability, tracking market volatility. The third is goal ambiguity, measuring how precisely outcomes are quantified. A flat two-dimensional organizational chart cannot account for the ways these three variables intersect. To manage this complexity, we need a framework that treats the organization as a cohesive system. Everything begins with a single node, goals and scope. This dictates the strategy to compete and the basic structure. Next, design must account for process and people. The final node governs behavior through coordination, control, and incentives. In this model, the traditional organizational chart, the structure, is only one out of 5 equal components. The work of an architect is designing the interdependent relationships between these 5 nodes. True organizational performance is the direct result of these internal connections being perfectly calibrated to the volatile external environment. When execution breaks down, it is usually because of a misfit, a critical misalignment between 2 or more of these nodes. A highly destructive misfit occurs when a company's strategy is at odds with its internal control and measurement systems. Companies generally adopt one of 2 strategic pathways: the defender, focused on cost leadership, or the prospector, focused on innovation. A defender strategy prioritizes efficiency and rigorous cost management to protect an existing position. This strategy requires a formal performance measurement system that focuses on rigid financial metrics. A prospector strategy focuses on exploring new markets and creating unique products. This mandates an informal measurement system that values non-financial drivers, like flexibility and quality. But if you apply rigid financial efficiency metrics to an innovation team, the flow of ideas stops. The measurement system clogs the pathway. Using the wrong measurement system for a chosen strategy guarantees execution drag, regardless of the talent on the team. In 2013, Microsoft attempted a massive realignment to increase its speed and innovation. CEO Steve Ballmer focused the effort on announcing a new organizational structure. Shuffling the boxes on the chart failed to address the deeper architectural misfits, like fragmented information and conflicting internal priorities that were slowing the company down. Satya Nadella's subsequent approach was different. He treated the company as a living architecture, focusing on aligning workforce synergies and incentives with the new strategy, rather than moving titles around. High performance is not a product of ambition or talent density. It is a product of deliberate design. When the strategy and measurement are aligned, every incentive encourages the behavior the goal requires. The system reinforces itself. This requires leaders to design the underlying capability stack, the interfaces, decision loops, and rhythms that happen every day. Fixing the architecture removes the burden of constant firefighting, as the system itself begins to carry the load. Stop optimizing static organizational charts and begin architecting dynamic, multi-contingency systems.